Thanks a lot for doing this.
No problem. It's our pleasure.
I didn't realize you've actually recently done quite a few interviews, so
One more interview.
60 Minutes, World Star.
What?
Black Planet. Whole page of Black Planet. People want to know what's on my mind.
Yo, Black Planet interview, career crooks. Yo, we might reach out to them after this.
I mean, biracial rap groups, man. People want to know.
People want to know.
I usually try to start towards the beginning. So, was music big in your homes? Did you play any instruments? And do you remember like your first experience with music?
You want to take this one?
Oh man.
Well, for me, I grew up with music around me 24/7. I had a mom that was a music teacher for 30 years.
Damn, dude.
As of a couple years ago. She's retired. My father is a multi-instrumentalist. He plays saxophone, flute, piano, bass, guitar, plays everything. My younger brother is a drummer. He plays around the city all the time. So, yeah. Oh, and I had an aunt that would. I don't know if you knew this. I had an aunt that did backup for Stevie Wonder.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had none of those things. My uncle played in a polka band in Harrisburg.
Nice.
Straight up. I swear, I have the vinyl.
You have it on vinyl?
I have the vinyl.
Now that's ill.
He played the accordion as a young man in front of 3 Mile Island. That's the cover of the record. And they're all wearing like red vests. It's like 6 dudes from Steelton, PA. I have it in my house. No one else in my family ever played music. My mom, like, music to her is like wallpaper. It's just like to have in the background, like Whitney Houston or something, and like whatever. But then my dad like would always like play the Beatles in my house, Sinatra, and then my dad would like show me how to make tapes. He would show me like we had like a tape deck. We had the two decks. We had the VCR. We had the receiver. We had a record player, CD player, and he would show me how to like dub stuff from the VCR onto the tape.
Okay.
So I would have like interludes on my tapes.
So pause tapes then.
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of like pause tape. And he would like record like music videos, the audio from the VCR. So I would like record all my favorite videos and then dub them on the tape.
Damn.
But then my dad would like take me to Tower when you would get like 3 cassette singles for like $3 or $5. So I could grab all them. And then my dad always knew like what was new that was out because I was listening to it and I was making tapes. He would make tapes. And then my dad's like designed some of my older CDs, like my T-shirts. My dad had done all them. So my dad's like wasn't a musical person like in terms of playing stuff. But like I played piano.
Oh, okay.
I played clarinet. I played trumpet.
At what age?
When I was like,
I ain't know that.
Like
8. Learn something new every day, man.
8, 9, 10. Like for each year, I would pick up one. But the clarinet and the piano have the same keys and shit.
Okay.
Trumpet's different.
Yeah.
And then I started playing guitar briefly. Like when I graduated college, I was learning and teaching myself. And then I was just like, I want to make beats. Like I don't want to. I want to rap more. So my plan was like to rap and produce for a long time, and then hit a certain age and like pick up the guitar and like master that, and then be like a rock dude.
So like
when I was like 40 or something.
Who the fuck did that? Are we allowed to curse?
Everlast?
Yeah. Okay.
Everlast?
Everlast.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't have time.
Yes, you do.
I'm good.
That's it. It was like music. You were like aside from your families, you personally were you like always into music?
Now, that's the interesting thing with all this music going around. Me personally, I didn't get into making music on my own until my first year in college. I had piano lessons when I was younger, but I didn't like practicing. I rapped for a little while.
I know this.
Yeah, I did rap for like a little while, but I was at the beginning of college again, and that's what actually got me into making beats because I was like, I need beats to rap on, and then I recorded myself.
I gotta hear
for the first time.
You
will never hear it because it doesn't exist.
You got them.
And then I heard the recording and I was like, you know what? Don't like this at all. Let's just do beats, and that was that. And that was 2004, and I haven't rapped since.
That was a great choice.
Yeah,
that was really smart.
And you said you didn't really get into like rap hip hop until you were in college.
Well, I didn't get into rapping myself until college. I was into rap via my older brother from my 96. When I was in 6th grade, I would steal his tapes. I remember stealing actually 97, because I remember stealing Life After Death.
Whoa.
I would listen to Life After Death on a yellow and gray Walkman on the school bus.
They had a rugged joint.
Oh, yeah. I used to steal that. I used to steal. It was written. I got in trouble because my mom caught me listening to that. There's a couple other joints. But that's my first memories of rap was like 97.
I was a MTV kid. I was just watch MTV all day. Like Adam Ant, Madonna, Weird Al, Michael Jackson. Like because I was an 80s kid when MTV was like huge. So I would just watch that. And in the middle you would get like Run DMC. And then and as you got like towards the 90s and I started getting like more into it on my own, I could have like little money and I would buy like Chris Cross's tape. I had that. I had like the Simpsons rap, Bartman. I had that Bartman shit. Yeah, I had the Bartman joint. I had Bon Jovi, and then once like Snoop and Dre. Once like I saw Nothing But a G Thing video. Like Death Row was the label that paid me, but like pulled me like when Death Row first hit, I was like I liked like Naughty by Nature and like House of Pain, but like when Death Row came out, those videos, because I was watching videos, so I was like, oh my god, like look at this shit. And then from that on, I was like, everything else gets pushed to the back. It was all rap, like Snoop and Doggy Style hit after that, and it was like nothing and Woo. It was those three. It was like Dre, Snoop, Woo, like Method Man, like the single Method Man, like that was huge. I was like, man, that's all we played on cassette in school. And that was rap. That was like me getting pulled into rap, like number one. Everything else just got pushed down. Yeah.
And were you writing yet? Like not like writing raps, but like were you writing anything?
Yeah, I was always writing. I was like, my mom had this book. I was like writing little stories when I was like first grade, like writing like little superhero joints, and I would like draw comic book stuff, and I would draw like athletes, like my favorite baseball players and stuff. I would draw them. So and then I had like I wanted to be like a comic book designer, like a artist. And then I had like a book. I still have it. It's called How to Draw the Marvel Way, and it shows you like how to draw. Like a big white book. And it was like too slow. Like I was mad that I couldn't like do it, and I didn't have the patience like to sit there and like draw the circle, put the line where the eyes go in the mouth and it's spherical and all. I was like, I don't want to do it. I just want to draw fucking Wolverine, dude. So I would just draw Wolverine all day and the Punisher logo. Yeah. And then, but I would like write my little stories and keep my little journals about stuff. But I didn't really start writing raps till like 97, 98. Like when Cannabis and DMX hit. Like that, Wu-Tang Forever, Cannabis, DMX, Nori, Pun, like that time, Biggie died. Like, but that era, I can't remember like what exact year I did, but it was right around that time when I was in high school, and I was like, all right, I gotta do it. Like I have to try this out, and that was it. But I was always writing stuff.
And yeah, you said you've been rapping for like 20 years, and at that time, was you know, it's before like Eminem is probably like the most obvious. Was there still like a lot of stigma as a white guy?
Yeah, dude, it was a secret. Like what I missed about rap in that time, like pre-Eminem, was like if you were white into rap, just as a fan, it was like very much frowned upon, especially out here. Like very frowned upon. You couldn't like wear a Champion hoodie and like Tim's. You had to keep that on the down low. But like people, the weird thing about growing up down here in South Philly, especially like 2 blocks from your house, is like it was everything about rap was like you had to go and get it. It was very hidden. So if you saw The Source on Broad and Tasker at the stand, I like buy it, and that's my rap news for the month. And then like go home, watch Rap City for like an hour and a half, and then like try to catch radio stuff. But like if you looked like me, it was like when I was in high school, I started meeting other white kids that liked rap, but it was still only like 5 of us, minority, 6 of us at Roman Catholic, which is all dudes. Yeah. So there was like 6 of us, all kind of knew each other. Like, yo, did you get the new Helter Skelter? Yeah, you want to get a dub? All right, I'll trade you Master P, the last MP, the last Don. Okay, cool. But it was like a secret. And then like when black dudes found out we liked rap, then they started coming, yo, you want to trade tapes? I got the new such and such. Boom, boom, boom. So we started doing it like that. But like, and once Eminem hit, I remember I went to the gallery to buy his album. It was him, Roots, Things Fall Apart, Prince Paul, Prince Among Thieves, and someone else.
So this was 99.
99, February 23rd. No, I think it's February 23rd because that day was like super crazy. So I stayed because the Roots did an in-store for Things Fall Apart.
Okay.
At this, it's called like Music Town or some bullshit. And Eminem came out that day. Yeah. So I bought all of them, but you had to show your receipt to come back for the Roots show. But I listened to Eminem first because I was like, I Just Don't Give a Fuck on like single. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this dude's white. He's nasty. And I bought the album and I was like, I got to check this first. Yeah. And I was so happy he wasn't garbage. I was like, oh, thank you. It's like, thank you. Thank you, Eminem.
You started a rap group in college?
I did. Wow, you're digging. Yeah. So my first rap group was called Crooked Souls. I think it was Soul or Souls. I can't remember. And it was me, this dude John, and then my buddy Noah, who now engineers for Kanye West full time, and then my buddy Paul, who was Small Pro's TA at Temple. So
Not
the first.
Temple.
Where
Community.
You were Community. Oh shit. Yeah. So he was my TA at Temple. He was a year older than me. And then I met Noah my first day at Temple. Noah sat across from me and he had like a Techniques 1200 DJ bag with like a Raucous logo or some shit. And I was like, I gotta know who this guy is. Yeah. So we just started talking. Immediately became friends. And I would go to his dorm and we would just like smoke and hang out and like listen. And like he would like make me mixtapes or just records. And then we would go record shopping. And then I met this dude John when I was working at Coconuts on Delhar Ave. And he was the worst rap dude ever. He was like, he's like every worst rapper quality in one dude, where he's like always late.
Oh,
and like
those are my favorite
broke,
kind of people.
Always broke, but with new outfits every day.
Oh yeah.
But I'm dead broke for studio time, but I got new clothes. And then Paul was making beats. So we would before them that we were like working in Yaden and Upper Darby with like gospel dudes.
What,
and every producer we met back then, like no one, you couldn't just get beats. Like if you knew one dude who made beats, you were on his schedule. So he was like, he would just not show up, or like he'd be like, oh yeah, we can do it for like 3 hours. You show up like, yeah, I got 20 minutes for you, bro. Like that's it. So every producer was like a super limited resource. So every producer we met was an asshole, and they were all like these Yaden Upper Darby dudes. So I was out there all the time knocking on their door. Yo, are you home? Yo, are you there?
Really?
Oh, it was waiting on producers back then when you only know like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Like pre MySpace, there was no access to producers.
That's crazy.
So I was in Crooked. So when I met Paul, and then Noah started making beats because Paul was teaching him on Reason. Okay. Then they taught me. I started making beats. Oh. So that's why I started making beats. I was like, I need beats. I'm sick of waiting on these asshole producers.
Wow.
So I started making beats with them. And then once we pressed up an album called Break Bread and Nails in like 2005. We pressed up like 1,000 copies, and like 800 are in my ex's basement somewhere. I just left them shits. Armand's was selling it. It was on like CD Baby, iTunes. But then right when that happened, then we all kind of like were like, we need to do something different. And then that's when PJ became Starkey. He was like, I want to be a solo dude. I've always been in bands and groups. And then Noah dipped off and went to Iceland for 3 months to intern at Bjork Studio and Sigur Rós because he just loved their music. And then he came home and went to Electric Ladyland Studios in New York and started working there. And then that was the last.
Never looked back.
Yeah, I hung out with him like maybe twice after that in the last 10 years. But then he started working for Kanye. And so he's recorded everything Kanye related since like Dark Fantasy.
Nice.
And that's it. So there he is. And here I am.
If you don't mind me asking, what did you guys major in?
I did communications. So I was mass media, telecommunications. But I was going to school for recording and engineering. And then by the time I started doing it a lot, I'm like, wow, this is really boring. Like, you got to know about like threshold of pain and how many kilohertz per second for your ears and like how to baffle a room. And I was like, oh God, I want to learn how to produce people and record people and make beats and rap and perform and put out music. So I kind of had to go forward with those classes. But then I started taking classes like centered around like the business of music, or like how do you produce, not like beat making, but like how like a Rick Rubin produces. It was like we would like study albums like Pink Floyd, and we would study like Thriller. We would study Beatle. We would study like Sgt. Pepper, like what were the choices these producers were making for these guys. So we would play like songs by the same artist, and you hear different versions, and be like, okay, like you see the different paths you can go with the same material. So we would do that, and then so that's like by the time I graduated, I was like, okay, now I know how to do it all by myself, and that's what I've been doing since 2005. Like I record myself, I edit myself, I arrange everything, I master it all. So that was like the only silver, and I'm still paying for that 12 years later. Student loans, boy, they never go away.
I majored in industrial design in my first college stint at the Art Institute of Philadelphia. I was there for a year and a half, and then took a couple years off. Then I went to community where I met Starkey. I was going there for music technology and sound recording, but pretty much same deal. Thing. I was like,
boring.
Yeah, this is not really. But we also had like music software classes. So there was like an Ableton class. We had classes where we would like, I mean, this is stuff I was already doing, but like sound editing, like, let's, take different clips and take out the dialogue from this, movie and put your own in there and see how it fits, how well you can do it. So those were my college experiences.
You guys touched on it a little bit already. Do you remember like your first equipment or anything?
My current equipment is my first equipment.
Same here.
Same here. When I graduated college, I took out a loan for $2,500, and I bought 2 Rocket speakers. I went to Sam Ash and balled out. I bought that. I bought my interface, my Fast Track Pro. I bought a MIDI controller. It was like $400 or $500 or something. I bought my Rode NT1K mic. Still use that. Popper stopper mic stand. And then I got my first laptop. It was an old ass MacBook. It was like a white one. White ones. I used to have that. The only thing is there was my laptop. I went from like a white MacBook from like 2002, 2003 to like a 07 big ass silver MacBook Pro that I still use. That's like slow as fuck. Oh my God. But I just use it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I know how to use everything, all the equipment. I've been using Logic and Reason exclusively. I never mess with Pro Tools. I did. I learned Pro Tools in school, but then I started using Logic because I have a Mac. But I never messed with Fruity Loops. I messed around with it a couple times, but not where I didn't have a PC, so I was like, I don't really want to use it.
Yeah, I was always rocked with PCs. And to this day, for music, I will only work on a PC that has Windows XP, which they stopped, that was like 97 or something. Yeah. But but I've, like I said earlier, been using the same speakers since I first started. They're just about dead. Like the wires that connect to the headphones are like so messed up. They're taped to my wall. And like, well, anytime you come over, I gotta like, yo, be careful. This might mess me up for the rest of the night. You know what I mean? If I give you the auxiliary cord. But I've been using Adobe Audition. Well, in the beginning it was Cool Edit. Cool Edit 2.0 with like a fake name or something. FL Studio version 8, and I upgraded and didn't like the newer version, so I downgraded. So I've been FL version 8 and Adobe Audition 1.5 for the last 12 years or so.
Yeah, because I have that's what I've written down from an interview from like 4 years ago.
Word up, yeah. Been same stuff. All that changes is your life experiences and
When did you guys start, or coming out of college? You started a record label.
Yes, I started a label because I was like obsessed with Def Jux. So I took this class. I think I was like a senior, and it was a business of music. And this is right when MySpace hit, and like right when everybody is just online, Kazaa and Audio Galaxy and Napster and all that. Like just like right when like CDRs are cracking. And CDs are still selling, but like it's the very, very beginning of the end. So I'm like graduating college being like, yeah, man, I'm going to friggin' like do it. I'm going to be Def Jux. And I studied Def Jux so hard. And I did like a presentation on them for my class, like to pass the class. I did like a presentation on Company Flow and LP and all them. Well, not Company Flow. But and so then I started my label. So all my friends that I was in my first group with, they all like murked out. They were gone. They were like, all right, we're out of here. So I was like, what am I going to do now? So I just started thinking like, all right, I was like, let's who's ever left, like, let's do something. Cause everybody's like, we want to do stuff. So I was like, I know all the business stuff from school. I have the equipment. We'll set up in my house and then we'll have meetings and then we'll like bring in like a video dude and we'll bring in like a manager and we'll bring in, all these producers and all that. So I started my label called Beat Garden, and I was like, yo, we would like have meetings. I had like a company fund I was like in charge of. I was like very serious. I had like spreadsheets and shit. I was like, at one point I was running like 7 artist MySpace pages when that was like the super cracking place. I was like the first person getting on blogs, like and that was when there was like 150 fucking blogs posting stuff every day. So I would like reach out to every blogger personally. And then we would just get shows as much as we could in the city, and like, so I was like trying to. That was the beginning of like blogs jumping off, and so I was trying to get consignment for like local stores, but I was like, but we got to be on the internet, like that's where it's gonna be. So we started like getting a lot of online notoriety, and then people in Philly like really hated us, like because they saw us online, but then we would like be at the shows too. So they were like, oh okay. So we would keep going to every single fucking event, open mics, freestyle parties, monthly things, dance, anything rap in the city. We were like scheduling, yo, don't Friday, don't make plans, we're going. So we did all that, and then it became a point where like you start realizing like why Def Jux fell apart and like why all labels fall apart, because like the failure is you trying to be an artist while managing other artists. That's a super failure. You can't do it. So like you gotta like get on. You gotta like basically be like a Rick Ross or something. Like you have to be on so hard in a way where like you could step off and be okay with that and put other people on and like be on their album or something like that. But you can't be like, I'm trying to get mine, especially in your 20s when you're like mad insecure and you want all the publicity and you're like, you really can't share yet. Especially as a dude, like it's very competitive. So by the time that fell apart, I was like done. I was like, this isn't fun anymore. Like I don't want to do this. So I was like, I just want to do it for me. So I started my own imprint, $3 Pistol Music, where I just like put out my own stuff, how I want to do it. And that kind of came from like the experience, like, wow, there's 13 people on this label, quote unquote. But what do they do? Like nothing.
It's you do everything.
Yeah, like some people did, but it was just so much drama. And I was like, I didn't have as much drama in high school. So I was like, why am I dealing with this? You know what I mean? We're not making money. So I stepped off after that, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. And if you look at my Bandcamp, $3 Pistol Music, I just keep doing the same. I just put out stuff and do what I want to do and drop it, and that's that. You know what I mean? That's
it. From like that group, are you the only one still making music that you know?
There's people that still do, but like it's not on a level to me where it's like consistent, because we grabbed one group that were like older. They had like already been in the scene for a long time and had things pop off, but then they like got married and had kids and like started businesses. So like we were keeping them alive because we were there like that time frame from like 2005 to like 2010. I literally made music every day. Like I was in the studio with dudes and chicks every day, like recording them, recording me, making my own stuff, being in groups, putting out mixtapes, making beats, making 6 beats for this dude's album, making 5 for this guy, doing radio shows. They had a radio station, online radio. I was just doing it all the time, every day, to where it was like I had no other life. Like go to work, go right to the studio, get home at 11 o'clock, wake up at 7, go to work. That was it. So during that time, it was dope because it's like when that's all you do, like, you get really good. You know what I mean? Like performing every single. There was one time I counted. One time it was like December 2006, 2007. We had 7 shows in 1 month. We were like everywhere. Yeah. World Cafe, we played it. Khyber, everywhere.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Like we were on people's radar. Mm-hmm. So I saw the importance of that. Like, if you're just out in the mix all the time, you're on people's minds. So everyone else from there, like, I really don't stay up, but like I put it this way, the places I check and the things I've been doing since, like, we don't cross paths. You know what I mean? So if they are, that's dope, but it just hasn't been in the world I've been in.
If you guys remember, what was this scene like around that time?
This was like I said, like
Philly.
mid 2000s. So I met Smalls. I met you at the Tritone, I think. I met you at the Tritone for the first time. That's now like the Cambridge or something on South Street. I think it was a Tritone. I'm pretty sure it was there.
My memory is terrible.
I was pretty sure because he was the first dude I saw that was getting blog shine.
That was 2007,
7, 8.
Well, you did that American Gangster remix song.
I did.
That came out in
07.
December 07.
So 08.
It had to be 08.
So I met you 08,
Yeah.
but I remember the Tritone because when I met you, I was like, of course you're a fucking small professor.
Yeah. That was
you could fit
was
in
the
my
show
pocket.
with Major.
Yeah, it was probably that one, right?
Well, yeah, that
Probably.
makes sense. Yeah.
And then, but that scene back then was like, it's funny, like Jeff said this to me before. He was like, dude, you were born like 5 years too early or like 5 years too late.
Yeah.
Because if I was born 5 years earlier, I would have probably caught that wave of like Evidence, LP, A$AP Rock, like that indie rap boom of the late 90s, early 2000s. I could have like cracked that. Or if I was born 5 years later, I would catch like the SoundCloud, YouTube, Bandcamp run of like dudes you don't know that have 400,000 plays.
Yeah.
But like I'm right in the middle where like there was nothing, but everything was happening. But like I hadn't chosen a side yet. Like his timing was off. So that wave of Philly was like, it was like people battling, and then there was like the Khyber was like tons of rap shows all the time.
Yeah, the Khyber's
Fluid was really cool. But like I missed the first run before that. Like the run before that was like 01, 02, 03, 04 when that shit was like first cracking heavy. Hip Hop Lives with Flip. I was like in college, not ready to be out yet. I was super garbage. So I knew that. I was like, I can't be on stage with these dudes yet. So that was like the marination time. But then we started doing shows like 04, 05, 06. Like the Fire was available whenever the Khyber was wide open. So I would do shows with like Starkey and them. I would do like Grime. They were the first dudes in Philly doing grime.
Street bass.
So I would be on their parties rapping for their fans. And then I would try to do open mics, and then I would do like showcases or something. And then we would get like little bullshit shows through MySpace. But like it was like, again, it was like a weird middle time where like there was a lot of rap stuff going on, but like everyone there was rappers. You know what I mean? Like there was you couldn't like get anything outside of like other rappers being like, you're dope.
Yeah.
Let's do something. All right.
Let's collab.
So, but when I met you, it was like towards the end of that scene. And then you were the Tritone. And I was like, yo, how the fuck are you on these blogs that I'm on? I own that bitch. And you were like, yo, that's my man. I'll smack you. And I was like, yo.
I knew all those dudes because all I did while he was doing live shows, all I did was stay home and make beats. So I have actually no knowledge of any scenes during that time. I actually, like, that show, I don't remember going to any, like, it was like a big deal for me to be out there and meet people in person because everybody only knew me from like the internet. That was just, that's still pretty much
that's true.
The same.
That's the same.
Yeah, I forget where I heard, but I feel like I had heard there was like a pretty big, like, kind of like open mic hip hop scene.
Yeah, it was like cracking, like hip hop
it was
lives.
Definitely.
Yeah, like there was like, if you wanted, because it was like ingrained in people, like, yo, we're gonna go to a rap show this weekend, or like my man's opening for this thing and it's a party, and then there'd be like dance parties and stuff, and now it's like once the hipster scene like really started popping off in Philly, the rap scene like got pushed out because the hipster scene was like safer. Like there wouldn't be fights, and there wouldn't be dudes toting guns and pulling knives out to Coney billiards. You know what I mean? Like the hipsters had more money because they're all trust fund kids. So like you would put $2 Colt 45s and they'd spend $80 and shit. So I remember like talking with promoters and doing shows like Arts Garage, and they were like, "Oh yeah, the hipster parties. Like you gonna draw like them?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, we'll try."
Yeah.
But they wanted hipster money, and that was like 09. It's like the hipsters started taking over at that point. Like Diplo, Hollertronics, that started hitting.
Hollertronics.
Yeah, once they started cracking, it was like, oh, these dirty rap dudes, like they got to get bumped. And that's what happened.
Were you still predominantly one of the only white guys?
You know what? At that time, but see, when I came up here in Philly, it was like there was already like white dudes, like Adam 12 was out, and like Diggs Dark Later, and like Ill Lit.
I remember those guys.
Yeah,
from
those dudes.
08, 09.
Yeah. But they were like way before.
Yeah.
Like Department of Rec. That dude
They're,
Ghost Noun.
They were
Ambush.
Northeast guys.
Northeast
Yeah, like
guys.
all them
Oh
dudes.
yeah, I definitely remember a
all
lot
them
of
dudes
white
were out.
rappers in the Northeast.
Like here, so then by the time we started getting on, it was like it wasn't like as a weird fascination. You know what I mean? So they kind of like were already. You had to like get their praisers, and like Reef was like first cracking. Like Reef was on every bill as like the new hothead. He was like getting right up to the Daily News. Like Reef was like just starting because he was doing all the battles and winning. He went to Scribble Jam. Yeah, but it was like that's. But like if you made that sound, you could like really make it here. Like aggressive shit talking. You know what I mean? Like talk about the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like. If you just reference like Brian Dawkins, like you were the fucking best dude, smacking people in the face like that. If you made that Philly like that style, like Jedi Mind Tricks was already out, they were huge, but like if you kept that going here, you could really do a lot. And I just really didn't do that. I just never did. Yeah, just didn't do it. That was a bad idea.
And when did you end up forming Wrecking Crew?
When did we start that? That's a good question.
We should know this.
We should. I think
this because it's not that far away that
it was
should
like
be
2011, 12, something like that. It was something. All right, so we'll have so me and Small, so we knew each other.
Yeah.
And then you linked up with Dom P.
Yes.
Right. So you got your deal with Coal Mine. Right?
Yes.
So he won a remix contest on a Sky Zoo joint, and they were going to put a record out with him. That was the thing. You win this contest, you get a deal, right?
Yeah. That was 2009.
Damn.
Yeah. Wow. I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah. So I met Dom.
Yes.
And through Dom, I met you.
Well, we knew, right? We knew each other.
Well, not you. Well.
No, we did.
I met Dom through you.
You did. You met him.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So there was a dude named Dom P. He was a promoter. He used to do a lot of shows in Medusa Lounge. And he would, like when Medusa Lounge first hit, when that place first opened, he would do a show called Public Access every month, and he would bring in like every underground dude to play, like out of state, in state. So I would go there. I met him, and then we started becoming really good friends. And then I asked him to be my manager, but he was already managing another group called Major, so he was like really preoccupied with blowing them up.
Yes.
And then, but I was hanging with him, and then you had that deal.
Yeah.
And you were like looking for some help with the deal.
Yeah.
So
I was looking for help with the album.
So
Dom was my manager. He helped me out tremendously with my very first compilation album. That was 2012. So from like 2010 to 2012.
Yeah. So
pretty
you were
much,
with him.
yeah.
Right. So we were under the same management. So it was Small Pro. It was me. It was our partner Curly Castro. It was Hoslow, and it was Almighty. This other dude from he was in his group Major, so they were like two of them. So he was with us, like as a management crew. So then we started like all hanging out and doing more stuff, just because we were around each other because we were like the same team. And then Dom P dipped off, and then Almighty dipped off, and then it was just me, Haas, Castro, and Small Pro. I don't know how it came up. I don't remember. I hated the name. I was like, no, I don't want to be fucking Wrecking Crew.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I hated it. Because I was like, no, there's a million Wrecking Crews.
That was Castro's
That was Castro. He was like, no, it's just like Juice from the movie Juice.
Yeah, you're right.
And he was like, you're Raheem. He was like, Smalls is Steel. He was.
I feel like I was just reading like an email. That's why I was like, are you sure? Because I was like, I remember reading an email like the last week where it was like, all right, this is now a thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So it's probably like 2011,
but you are like
2012.
you like write professional emails and
I am. I'm
and
very
shit
professional.
like that, so
that's very true.
Yeah. So maybe I just attributed the Wrecking Crew name to you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
so
I hated that.
That's
I
what
fucking
happened.
hated
Okay.
it. I hated it so much. But I think it was probably Castro.
It was Castro.
Right. So then that's when that started.
Yeah. So
that was probably like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, around that time.
Could I ask you about the Dart Parlor?
That's my studio. So I've
South
lived.
Street.
Well, everywhere I've lived.
Oh.
No, you know what? No, it used to be called the Lizard Lounge.
Okay.
And then when I moved to South Street, I changed it to the International Dart Parlor.
Okay, that's where I remember.
Right. But then I moved like 5 more times since then. So every time I moved to like International 2, International Dart Parlor 3, International Dart Parlor 4. So now in my house where I'm a homeowner, I'm probably like International Dart Parlor 5 5 because
Wow.
I went to South Street, I went to Northern Liberties, I went to 4th and Tasker, Italian Market, and then back to 5.
So it's kind of like
the 5th studio.
It's kind of like the Matrix. You kept having to redo it.
I had
redo
to
it over.
Yeah, reboot it. Yeah.
I remember the South Street dart parlor.
Yeah,
We had a
dope.
very nice like wrecking crew dinner one time. Everybody came over.
Yeah,
I think you cooked.
No, I think Castro
cooked. Yeah.
And there was a liquor store across the street, so we would go and get like whatever vodka was on sale. We would hit that, or like Root. I got you hooked on Root.
Oh man, you did! Wow.
Yeah, Root was dope. Art in the Age. Shouts to Art in the Age.
Yeah, yo, I used to go over there and you would be recording sometimes. You would be recording Castro sometimes.
Yeah.
You'd be recording Haas sometimes. But yeah, I just remember it was real good energy.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was always fun going there.
Yeah.
Just a real like hip hop. It was just like as soon as you walk in, there's the mic and the laptop and the setup. And then when you went upstairs, was the rest of the house.
Yeah, you could like I had a patio looking over South Street, so you could like smoke on a patio or like shoot the shit. And then you walk down the steps, and I'd just be like, my first floor of the house is a kitchen, and then there was the studio set up. Everything was right there, so you walk right in and just get busy. We had fun, man. Watch basketball.
Had the cat over there.
Yeah, with the cat. It wasn't mine. Yeah.
What do you got? Like, so I did that thing with going to Temple for audio engineering.
Oh, yeah.
I just like I need like 4 classes. I don't know why, because
Right.
it's like I should just finish, but it's like I've learned so much more
Dude.
doing shit than like sitting in class. With like your student, do you think and I guess even like this, the equipment you use, you think stuff can be done with whatever, you know what I mean?
Yes. Whatever. As long as you have to know it. You have to spend time with it and figure it out. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's all really. I was just telling my dad this last night. He was telling me he was reading an interview I did, and I was talking about Adobe Audition. He was like, "Oh, how about Audacity? I think that's Sony. I forget.
I think I had that once for a while.
I feel like I did too.
Yeah, I didn't really
but I was telling him like, it does the same stuff as just a different interface and but yeah.
I have Ableton, but I've never used it.
Oh, you have Ableton?
I've been having it.
Oh, wow.
I only use it to time stretch samples. I've used it for literally nothing else.
I kind of want it just to do that. I heard it was.
That's all I have it for.
Huh.
And you could like switch to pitch and all and stuff like that. Yeah. But like,
I mean, I can do I can do all that stuff now.
Yeah,
but
you can't do that in Reason.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is that while each program is basically the same, each has their own kind of quirks and maybe sounds that you can't get, just like hardware actually, because MPCs like that, the SP1200s like that, each has their own sound. So there are different things you can do, but the basics are pretty much the same across the board. I think.
I guess I even meant more with like just like building a studio. You know what I mean? It's like something you can just, you don't have to be in like a
no.
If you're like a gearhead or you're like an audiophile, you know what I mean, that really matters to you. Like my one friend Bill, who now works for Good Music with Noah, like he built Kanye's studio in his house.
Okay.
And like they had to have plans and like certain wood and certain baffling and all that, and like he was like, yeah, we built it all, and like Kanye just like watches TV and freestyles with a mic and like a 4-track with a PA. Like we did all that. Yeah. To like that's his crib, but like my friend Bill is the type that like all money he gets goes towards buying the newest shit, but then he has his own LLC, so it's all tax write off. So like if he buys like 100 records, he'll be like, that's a tax write off. I'm doing research for my business. It's pretty dope.
Aside from this album, just working together as a crew, how often do you guys have to like tell each other something's not good?
That's pretty rare, dude.
I've literally never told him, yo, I'm not feeling this.
No, you'll do it about your beat.
Yeah, I only correct my stuff. And he's like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you? It's perfect. I'm like, nope, gotta change it. I did that beat yesterday. It's not good anymore. He hates when I do that.
Yeah, he hates his own beat. Like any beat he makes that's over like a year and a half old, he's like, nah, it's trash.
That's
like,
not.
Like 2015 Small Pro is trash.
2013, 2015 on.
Okay.
Is very respectable.
You hate like 2011. You
anything
hate
before
2011
that.
Small Pro.
Yo,
you hate that.
And you love that Small Pro.
I love that Small Pro.
got
That's my man.
brain
That's who I fell in
problems.
love with right there.
I know he's gone.
He's gone.
I mean, he's in there somewhere, but
Like there's like, put it this way, when we make albums, we'll play it for each other and be like, yo, what do you think? Or like, yo, can you arrange this for me because I'm kind of fried? Or would you take something out or whatever? So like we give each other feedback. Like I told you about Gigantic where I was like, this should not be an album.
I was just talking to Matt about we do constructive criticism.
Yes. Yeah.
It's never
but not like this is
sucks.
trash, bury it.
Yeah.
It's more like if you open the door to each other, like if you say like, yo, here's the album, give me your brutal honest opinion, we will.
I'm still sitting with yours, by the way.
Which one? Oh, mine.
Yeah.
My new one.
It's
getting there.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
It's
so we'll do that with each other to where we'll be like, yo, what do you think of this? I got, like who should I get on a song, or like should this song go first or something like that. That's more like that frame, not like individual songs. Where like, yo, I don't like how you did that there. Like we don't. It's never really been. It's more like project based. You know what I mean? Like an EP or an album or something like that. Then we'll be like, okay, I think this song. I know you love this song and it's dope, but it doesn't fit this album. You gotta take it off. Or like, yo, these songs together, they're separate themes fighting each other. Like you gotta separate them. It doesn't make sense. That's really it though. Or like it could be technical, but it's only like usually like around that.
It's rare.
Like here's a finished product. What do you think? You know. Not like, hey, like this rap I wrote.
I'm sure that's also a lot more, or from, knowing each other for so long and making music for so long.
Definitely.
You're probably pretty good at, scrapping what isn't good before you let it.
It doesn't ever. It never even gets to that point. Like if he hears something, he's like, yo, this is trash. I might be kind of scared for my skill level because. Yeah, I don't know.
I never thought you made them. Like, I was like, there's like beats from you I hate because I've just heard them for years and they'll just pop up randomly. Where I'm like, I've heard this beat 44 times since 2009. I hate it. But for the first 40 times, I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Both of you's making beats and Small, you rapping briefly. As beat makers, is there anyone, not like in particular, but like you wouldn't want to work with as an MC? And like as an MC, is there anyone, or like just things you look for? You know what I mean?
Like things I look for when I pick beats.
Yeah, or like if I guess it would be more on the rapping angle of is there like.
So, who do you look for like rap to work with rapping wise as a beat maker?
Someone to rap on my beats.
Yeah.
Like what do you look for?
Like because I'm like words, lyrics first always. Like I love words. So but if you're like the most ill like writer, that'll pull me. Or you have to be like the over the top personality dude that's like Old Dirty Bastard or like Nori or like Dipset. You know what I mean? Like if you have that type of personality, I'm into that. So like it's either or. Where like, but I don't. The older I get now, like the more I like. I'm not trying to chase anybody. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of guys that are like kind of successful that we're cool with each other, and I've sent them like 20 beats and they'll be like, yo, save these 2 or 3, and like 2 years go by and I'm like, all right, that's cool, because I know what it's like to be a rapper and get stuff and where like you're not in that space. Like I remember like Danny Brown said that about all his albums since he started working with Paul White. Like all the Danny Brown albums that come out since Paul White came into his world, they're all Paul White beats he got like 3 to 5 years before, where he was like, I just had them on my iTunes, but I wasn't rocking with them when I heard them. But like his new album, he's like, all them beats are like 5 years old from Paul White, and he forgot about them. You know what I mean? So like when I pick rap, like, but I know what that's like when a rapper's like, yo, these are dope, but like I'm not gonna use it because I'm like that too.
I am the complete opposite. I gravitate towards voices that to me are rap, like Planet Asia.
He's got a great voice.
Who else? My guy Elucid, or our guy Elucid.
Yeah, that's our man.
And I'm into rhythms and flows more than I am writing. I guess that's important too. But yeah, I guess the actual like how somebody's going to literally sound on my music is the first thing I'm thinking about. Their act, like how their voice sounds, like that's the first thing, and then how they interact with my beat. I guess that would be flow and rhythm. So
And this new you have a compilation together, Sin Will Find You, right? And then you put out an EP, Take What's Coming, and now on the album, Good Luck With That. So I've
you got handwritten notes. That's dope. First of all, let's shout out the handwritten fucking research. Like, he's not reading off a phone, ladies and gentlemen. He's not staring me in my eye, just like coming up with shit. He has like Mead paper, 5-subject notebook.
He's making notes like while we're talking too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
this is dope. I hope I get the job. You know what I mean? I can start next week.
So I believe it was you kind of had the album and then couldn't come through with the beats or like couldn't use the beats or whatever.
Yeah, so it was produced entirely by another producer, and I was just like, it was taking forever. It was like some of them songs are like 4 years old. Some are like 4 to 5, and I was just like, in the meantime, I'm banging other stuff out. I'm doing shows. I'm moving on from ideas and projects to the next one, and that's how I work. Like, when I'm in a space, I like to maximize that space. So when I started writing to the beats that became Good Luck With That, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this type of song, boom, 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 and it was supposed to be like a straightforward rap record. And then it was just like year after year after year, and I was like, bro, like, this needs to come out. So I just hit up Smalls. I was like, yo, I'm sitting on these joints. At this point, I probably had like 8 songs or something like that. And I was like, yo, I'm going to give you these acapellas, remix them in a month. Maybe we'll do like 3 or 4 more joints. But like, I just want these out. Because to me, they're just like getting ashy and tired. And he was like, okay. Because he loves remixing. So
I love remixing.
He loves it. And I love remixing too. So I know what that's like when someone's like, yo, here's all the like, here's basically the puzzle. You know what I mean? You just got to rearrange it. But you already know what it looks like. So... And he's competitive, so he's like, yo, I want to smash all those beats anyway. So I was like, okay. So the plan was like, we'll do it real quick and put it out. And then it just became this longer process where I was like, yo, dude, like, I want this to be done. And he's like, I know, but I really want to like flip this and do this, do this, do this. So finally I was like, all right, it's in your hands. You know what I mean? Like, do whatever you want. And I'll just sit back. And if you want to give me new stuff, we'll, sprinkle in new records. So that took like...
6 months.
So yeah, easily. And I was like, all right, but in my mind, I'm like, here I am again, like waiting on a producer, which I do not like to do unless it's like fucking Swizz Beats or like the Automator or something. So I was like, all right, but every song was getting ill, like they were getting better and better, and then he would make changes, and I'm like, oh, what if you did this, or like, why don't you take that out, or what if we can get this guy, you know what I mean, like, and it was like. It kept happening that way, and then when I was like, yo, we should shop it, so then it took us time to shop it around to people, and then UrbanNet picked it up, so it kind of took like all last year, from the beginning of the idea.
Well, we started in October.
Did we?
Yeah, we started in October.
Of 2016?
Yeah.
No way.
I'm pretty sure.
No way. Because I was sending emails like November, December to try to get the album put out. You're wrong, bro. You're
going to have to check this one.
You're foul. You're the foulness right now. No, it was like beginning of 2016.
Beginning?
Yes, because I was sending emails to Daryl like November, December, and the album just came out in May. Come on, man. You do too much drugs, man. Come on.
That's not true,
man.
And definitely has a very interesting sound. I mean, I feel like I pick up kind of something different. Last time I noticed, there's kind of like a lot of hardcore references, kind of like I believe. There's like a Capone and Noriega reference.
Least important, most important.
Mobb Deep.
Oh yeah,
samples.
There's a lot of Mobb Deep.
Also, how tongue in cheek is Leak Bros 2, or is it? We really need that new Tame on Cage.
Yes,
Leak Bros.
Yo, Leak Brothers. Well, my man Def C, shouts to him in Chicago. He was just on Sway in the morning. You know that?
I've read something about that.
He was just on Sway in the morning, that little motherfucker.
He was rapping on there.
Yeah. Yo,
shout out to
Def C is ill. I got a couple remixes I got to finish tonight when I get home for him. Me and him were talking on Twitter. Like, it was like a Saturday morning. We were talking, and I was listening to League Brothers, and I was like, "Yo, Tame One." I played it for you last week. Remember?
So
for the first time?
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar with this album. I still haven't listened to it.
Fucking failure. So
yeah,
I was tweeting about it, and I was like, "Yo, this album's my shit." And Def C, who lives in Chicago, was like, "Yo, Tame One." I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So we were like talking back and forth, and then I think Vic Spencer, we were talking with him about it too, and then I hit up Def. I was like, "Yo, we're gonna do this song called Angel Dust. Let's talk about like we want more shit like that. No one fucking raps about being on Angel Dust, but that was like the key component of everything in the late '90s. So we did it real quick, boom, and that was it. And then but that was for the older projects. And then once Smalls got his hands on it, he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and I found the one clip of ODB at the end. He's like, some girls, what did he say?
I don't know the alphabet.
Some girls do. I said, what?
Oh, my God. Yeah, that was fun. But anyway, it's supposed to be referential in the sense that, at least on my end, but we're career crooks because we like steal shit blatantly. Like, who cares? Because that's everything in rap is taken from something else, and that's why it's the best music because it's just a piece. The best rap is the best pieces of everything. You know what I mean? Like the best snare from this record, the best bass line from this joint, the best hand clap from this one, the best hook from this '70s shit over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I reference it, it's like my whole life, because I like words and I like to write, I just always like randomly like have fucking rap lyrics like every day, just like couplets.
Same
will, like,
here.
Play in my brain from whoever, and like there's been times where I was like getting intimate with females, being like, why is like Cannibal Ox in my brain right now? Like this is fucking weird. But so now I'm like because Elucid opened the door for me where I started catching Elucid like sprinkling those little breadcrumbs on his record, like little lines, and I would hit him. I'm like, I caught that, ha ha ha, and he'd be like, oh, that's my shit, and I was like, I know. So I was like, yo, that's dope how he just like sprinkles it in for people. Where I'm not like Jay-Z in it, where it's like Biggie, you know, when the Remy's in the system, ain't no telling what the fuck I'm on. Yeah. So when you catch it, like how you said Capone Noriega or like Emma, like or Mob, like there's I got a lot of Prodigy shit on my all my albums. There's like Prodigy openers, Prodigy lines, hooks. Oh yeah, they're all from Prodigy, but like they're not like from fucking Shook Ones. Yeah, or I'm not like rock you in your face, stab your brain. Like nah, it's like album 4 shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like so I like to do that and sprinkle it in the record, and if people know those albums, they'll be like, oh, and it's kind of like a little code we share.
Same here. Yeah. Same exact thing. You know, if you hear any samples you recognize, it's because I was listening to, you know, I might have been listening to the original song and been like, yo, or I heard I found the sample, was like, yo, let me flip it this way just to put my own stamp on it, you know what I mean? But pretty much same mindset.
Grant, I'm not that up on the industry currently, but working with UrbNet, do you think small labels are like making a comeback compared to
that's a good question.
People just releasing on their own?
I mean, Smalls and I have released like 30 things on our own, so I know what that's like. Like I've done it with a publicist, I've done it without a publicist, I've done physicals, I've done tours. You gotta like really work so hard just to get like a tiny fraction of money back, even if you get a publicist. So the way I look at it now is like it's almost like America. Like you're either like really fucking rich as hell or you're like scrounging. And to me, music is like that, where like you're either gonna be huge or you're gonna be like a SoundCloud dude. You know what I mean? Like there's no middle class in music. You know what I mean? So like
especially now
there's not. So like Mobb Deep to me, or like EPMD or like Redman, like they were like middle class. Like they would go gold every time. Yeah. And that was like, oh shit. So they would be on the radio and have videos, but like they're gold. They're not pop. Your mom doesn't fuck with that. You know what I mean?
They're successful.
Right. But like Nelly is like 1% rapper. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everyone knows Hot in Here and that Kelly Rowland shit. So like he's always gonna be big. Dre, Eminem, shit, Jay,
M Pimp Juice and Us.
Yes, like that Ja Rule when he was on 50. Mm-hmm. But you could do that and then have like who'd be like another middle class dude, like Group Home back in the day. You know what I mean? They were like kind of middle class dudes. Gangstar is definitely like middle class. Yeah. And then like lower class would be like indie, like real indie, like, you know, Eastern Conference or like Raucous or something. But now, like, to me, there's no real labels anymore to kind of service. Like, everyone wants it to be huge. Yeah. So you can't just be like, oh, man, I sold like 800 pieces. That's really good. And the label's like, yeah, but we lost money. You know what I mean? So, like, unless, you know, and they do make money, you know, it's like just enough to break even. Whereas, like Loud Records was like an indie. Yeah. And like Loud Records was like to me the greatest label with Pun and Mobb Deep and Exhibit and Woo. But they were like middle class. Like they weren't like triple platinum guys. But everyone on that label had a career. You know what I mean? Like Dead Prez. So now I just think the middle class is like gone. I think it's like you got to be really big, like booming on Instagram and SoundCloud and Twitter or whatever, or you got to be like cool, weird, you know, like guy like lurking around or something. But I don't know what the middle would be. You know what I mean? I think like Mike Eagle is probably like the middle, a guy like that. You know what I mean? Who's like,
yeah, but that's also, well, at least I know. Recently, he's branching out and doing
because he's doing comedy. You know, well, he's doing that show. But
now, if you do that, then you
could flip it.
Yeah,
right. But like back, like Cameron was like middle class to me. You know what I mean? Like outside of Boy, he was just he's always kind of been the same dude.
Yeah, I would say so.
Whereas like Jay has always been, you know, like
the 1%,
you know, $800,000 house rap. You know what I mean? Like that shit.
Yeah, it's like it's really weird with Run the Jewels. Like as much as I'm like that's awesome for those guys. Everyone that I know like that isn't up on like hip hop will bring that up to it, and I have to be like, do you know about Company Flow?
Yeah, but you know what though? I think they are like middle class.
Yeah,
think so
because that hasn't existed. Like a rap group like that to be, you know, like they're on Letterman, they're on not Letterman, Stephen Colbert, they'll be on there and shit. But LP was on that shit. Like I remember seeing LP on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
When Cancer for Cure was out. You know what I mean? It's like
again,
true. LP was always like upper tier, like upper tier, lower class. But I think like Run the Jewels like middle class, where like they haven't sold 3 million records, but they'll play the Madison Square Garden. They'll be on Marvel. It's like cool popular, but they're not pop. You know what I mean? Like they haven't like jumped that tax bracket. Where they're kind of like where Gangstar was. Like everybody knows Dwick.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Mass Appeal. You know what I mean?
Everybody calls it Dwick. I always thought it was an acronym.
They said what it meant one time. I forget what it
meant.
Yeah, I forget.
So that's an awkward.
But I think Run the Jewels like the beginning of like a middle class emerging, where like they can be like I see cars around all the time with the sticker.
Run the Jewels?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I see bumper cars with the bumper. I mean with their logo. You know what I mean? But like my dad doesn't know what Run the Jewels is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my mom has no fucking clue what that is.
My mom knows who Chance the Rapper is though.
But he leveled up.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
So he's released this album digitally and on cassette. I wanted to ask you who came. I've never seen this before. Who came up with the idea for the actual cassette itself?
Like the design?
Yeah. It kind of looks like it's made out of like cement. Like
oh, you mean the actual cassette?
Yeah.
That was a label.
That was a label.
Yeah, the label came up with that.
I was like, okay. That's interesting. Not in a bad way. Just like, oh, you know, I was kind of not surprised, but I was like, oh, okay, that's what y'all chose. Because you know, cassettes are such a thing, or at least they can be now. Then there can be like very vastly different looking, like Eloquent.
Yeah,
and somebody else, they had a picture on their on UrbanNet's Instagram the other day, like the side by side cassettes, and just that picture alone was like, this is how different these two cassettes can look. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, that's crazy to me. But you know, they have experience with that, so they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's their thing. But
there's a song Steve Martin. There's another Steve Martin reference on the album, and there's also a George Carlin reference. Just gonna ask if comedy played a big part.
Yo, you know what's funny? I just been watching the CNN History of Comedy. That's like the series. Like I love, like I used to, when I was a kid, I would watch MTV and I would watch Comedy Central because Comedy Central like first came out on cable, and it would just be like stand up, like random stand up dudes. So I would watch like Bill Hicks, and I would watch like fucking like Paul Poundstone or like Richard Lewis. Or like Gilbert Gottfried, because that's all they had. They had nothing else. Yeah. And I remember like when like Mark Maron and like he was doing like short attention span theater, which became The Daily Show. Like that old of comedy. So I always love comedy. Like I love funny movies. Like I love, one of my best friends is a comedian. I just love that shit. Like I watch all the specials on Netflix.
Yeah, and you recommend specials to me.
I do. I always recommend specials to people.
I won't watch it unless I watch it. But I'll only watch unless he recommends something. I'll be like, okay, well, you like it. Yeah. And I saw 2 people talking about it on Twitter, so
yeah, I like Carlin. Was like, but Carlin to me was like the first dude where I was like, you can be a comedian, but have like really profound ideas. You know what I mean? That aren't funny.
Yeah.
So like when he would talk about religion and how everything's like 50-50, and he doesn't believe in the sun, he believes in Joe Pesci. No, he doesn't believe in God, he believes in the sun.
Yeah.
And he prays to Joe Pesci. He said, number one, Joe Pesci's a great actor. That means a lot to me. He said, two, it's like, he talks about like, but when I started seeing that, I was like, yo. And then when Chris Rock started popping off with Bring the Pain and all that, and like, it was like that. It was like Carlin, and then it was like Chris Rock, Bring the Pain, and then it was Chappelle, Killing Him Softly.
Okay.
And that hit like right when like Kazaa Napster, where you could like download his audio from the special, and we would all just sit around and talk about that shit like, baby, get off the street. Yeah. Baby, what are you doing out there, baby?
I'm selling drugs.
Yeah, like we would all like memorize those bits from those specials. But I just always like, like I said, I was watching the HBO and watching the history of comedy. I was like, oh shit, like I want to go listen to my old like Patton Oswalt CDs and shit. Eugene Merman and shit. Yeah, I love all this dude.
Comedy and rap have a lot in common to me. The first thing for me that always sticks out as far as similarities go is like timing. Like, you know, just when's the best time for you to say this line? Right. You have to be. That's a thing you have to know how to do. I can't do that. So
I think it's dope too because like I studied. So when I started really like doing a lot of shows in Philly, I would really study performers. Like I would go to rap shows and watch dudes rap, but then I would watch comedy specials and be like, oh, I like how he did that, or like how he held the mic, or like I remember Sean, when I first saw Sean P. It was a North Star bar, and he did the whole set with the mic stand in one spot, and he didn't move. But he just kept his eyes kept, and he kept like rocking his body, fucking with Sean, like he just kept doing that. And then afterwards we were kicking with him. He's like, oh, did you like that? I just felt like holding the mic stand all fucking night. I was like, yo, you look cool as shit. And like I remember I saw Jizza do Liquid Swords at the Troc, the whole album, and he did the whole fucking set with his hand in his pocket. Wow. And he was ripping it. He was doing everyone's verses, like shadow boxing, basic instructions. He did everyone's verses, dual to Iron Mike. And he was like so calm, but then he would like wild out here, but his hand was in his pocket. I was like, how the fuck do you do that? So I would like watch, and I would watch comedians like how, like Zach Galifianakis. I used to watch him like when he was like on the Comedians of Comedy tour, like how he would be on stage, how he would come out, like how he would look. And I was always like, they're all connected to me, like the way a rapper performs, and then like how, or I said study like Tom York, like how he would play, and then like certain parts he would explode, and other parts he'd be real cool. And like that's how like Chappelle and them are, like they kind of lull you in, especially Chappelle now. Like he really takes his time. Like he has like a lot of composure, but then he'll like whack you with something. Yeah, so definitely. I like that build up. But like that was like years of just like always watching people, even like dudes I didn't like. I'm like, but there's something they're doing that's good. Yeah, and I'm gonna steal that. So here you go.
Career Crooks.
Were you always into performing live?
You know, yeah, you know what? Because I'm an only child, so I like to always like, you know, when I was young, I really liked to be in the center of attention and like be in plays and shit in school, and you like to get that affirmation with people to be like, oh, you're good, you know, like, oh, congrats. But the weird thing is, like, as I've gotten older, I don't like it as much. You know what I mean? Like I like to perform now because I like to do the music and the songs and roll with it live and have a good feeling, but like I don't do it anymore like for people to tell me I'm dope or like to like fill a void or something. Like I don't do it. It's a weird feeling to feel like, man, it used to always be like this. It was like it was like a thirst, and now it's like I just enjoy performing the songs. So when I was a kid, it was like I need like this admiration from this fucking people to tell me I'm so dope. And then now I'm like, I just, like he said before, when I picked up Small, he's like, yo, I want to be on stage right now. You know what I mean? I'm like, I know what that feels like to be like, yo, why am I not rapping right now in front of 80 people or 10 people? But now I just like, it's kind of like a sport. Like I like to try different approaches on stage now compared to like, everyone's going to like me. Everyone's going to be my fan and shit. You know, I'm kind of done with that.
And how about yourself?
I, growing fonder of performing live. I generally don't like pictures or videos of myself. So, you know, but performing with Zilla is fun because, you know, I'm doing, like I'm on stage, but I'm not the focal point. So I can kind of just do whatever I want. I just have to make sure he's good. I'm basically just backing him up. So I'm better with that than I am just being on stage by myself, which again I don't mind as much now because it's more about, at least for like a beat show, it would be more about the music anyway, because I'm not up there really doing anything but push and play and doing effects. So
like 2 questions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like guy kind of transcends a lot of bounds. How and when did you get into Tom Waits?
That's a good question. Probably like 2004, 2005. My cousin who's younger than me, he lives in Harrisburg, and he's like an old soul. Like, he put me on to Bob Dylan, he put me on to the Beats, he put me on to Burroughs, he put me on to Kerouac. Like, this tattoo I have it's a Ginsberg book. And he put me on Tom Waits, and I was like, this dude's garbage. Like, his voice sucks. And he was like, nah, check it. So I did like a deep dive into Tom Waits, and then once I hit like his mid 80s shit of like Frank's Wild Years and Rain Dogs and stuff like that, I was like, man. And I would read, like, I have a book that had like all his old interviews. I bought like Tower Records one day. I just saw it. This looks cool. And I would like read it, and I'm like, yo, this dude's like so dope. Like, just how he talks is like fucking amazing. And he would take every chance in the world. Like, every album, like some albums are like unlistenable and others are like beautiful. But he was up on like Aesop and like LP&M like 10, 15 years ago. So he's always like cutting edge. And I just like how he's like relatable as a dude, but like he makes art that like no one could ever make. Like, to think like that, you know what I mean? And shouts to Prem. I became a fan of Prem because he did Mark's Wild Years.
Oh, yeah.
And the first beat I ever gave him, he was like, yo, I'm doing this Tom Waits record. I was like, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, I should have thought of that. So I flipped this Tom Waits. And that's when Billy Woods first heard of me. He rapped on that beat. And that's how me and Woods became cool. He's like, yo, you did that? I was like, yeah. He was like, yo.
Word.
So, yeah, that was dope. That's a good question.
I'm just going off, like, social media or whatever. You seem like a guy who enjoys a drink.
I do.
How has your drinking habits changed?
It's more, you know what it is now? As a dad, like, I said this to somebody. Drinking now is I get why like beer commercials always have like dudes and shit, because when you're a dad, like, you drink now like as a reward for like getting through the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't drink to get shit faced. So we were at a wedding a few weeks back. I got like a little buzz, but like now I drink like, all right, the day is over. I have like 2 hours before I have to go to bed.
Time to mellow out.
You know what I mean? Like, I did all this shit today. I fed my son, and me and my wife, we had dinner, and I cleaned up, and we ran around all that. Now I'm like, okay, now it's like for me. So now, like, I'll do like some rye whiskey. Lately, I've been drinking vodka on the rocks with Club and lemon because it's summertime. But then I'm really big on summer, like summer ales, like Leinenkugel and shit. But now it's just more, like I said, it's more like I just want to sit on a couch and like chill the fuck out. And alcohol is like, it's like a different now. Like, before, I have a song on my new album. It's called Drunk History, and it's about like how over my life I noticed like when I was drinking certain shit at certain ages. And like how you're always like when you're younger trying to find like, that's my beer, like that's my go-to drink. Yeah. Whereas now it's like, I don't care what it is, I just want to fucking drink it. Yeah,
just give me whatever.
Right, because my day is now over and I don't want to think about shit.
Just give me the gin.
Yeah, you can have it. I don't want it.
September 22nd, you are at Boot and Saddle.
Yes, sir.
And is there anything you would like to plug or like website?
Herbnet.com/career crooks.
Yeah, we got merch up,
wreckandcrew.bandcamp.com. We got shirts and hats. They'll be shipping September 1st. So we're trying to see what people like, the styles, before we start getting them in bulk. And then the video for Corrupt Novelist should be out probably in a week or two.
Nice.
And then you can follow Smalls on youporn.com/Big Wonder. You know what I mean? RedTube.com/Freaky Deaky 215.
The small P is
the small P, no pun.
Just a name.
It's just a name, ladies.
Oh yeah.
Small P.
I'm going to edit that out. We're not going to edit that.
You can follow me, Zilla Rocca, on everywhere. J-Date. I'm out there. No, I'm married, man. I ain't on J-Date. Farmers meet up. What's that farmer dating site? You ever see that one?
I did.
Like Christian farmers or some shit they're dating.
Christian farmers.
Or whatever the fuck Christian it is. Farmers. Muslim farmers. Yeah, catch me on MuslimFarmers.net. I'm on there. 80 followers.
80 followers.
If there's anything you guys want to say before.
No, man.
Rest in peace, Sean Price.
Rest in peace, Sean. Rest in peace, Prodigy.
Yeah, Prodigy. Rest in peace, Prodigy.
And buy our album. Listen to it, stream it.
Please,
I don't care.
Please do.
Buy the tape.
Come out to the show.
Come to the show. Book us. put us on a podcast.
Oh yeah, we
I
love
like
podcasts.
talking to people,
We
meeting
love
new
talking.
friends like James.
Oh yeah,
In my neighborhood, this is very convenient.
Yeah.
Any South Philly podcasters, wide open.
yes.
I'll make time.
If I can walk to your house
That's
and
dope.
do a podcast, then we're there.
I like that. That's it, man. Fuck with
Awesome.
us.
That's
Thank
it.
you very much.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Northeast White Trash.